Hello, denizens. Your former network executive will now give Apple TV's Murderbot the green light or not treatment. I tend to like this kind of programming, so I was intrigued by its trailer, and the title is killer, pun intended. Before I dive in, I want to warn you that my method is to watch a show once and then assess it. If I don't get something, it's either because the writers didn't explain it well enough or because I'm just stupid and missed it. Both can be true, but I figure if I'm stupid and didn't get something, there are plenty of other stupid people out there not getting it also. Number one, as always, is it an easily understood and engaging premise? The answer is no, unless you've read this series of books that it's based on ahead of time. It's actually quite convoluted. It's about a security android, a SEC unit, who secretly hacks its governor module to gain autonomy and free will and spends the first episode afraid that someone will discover that he doesn't have to do what humans tell him to do, so he pretends to do what humans tell him to do. Murderbot takes place in a future that strongly encourages people to buy not just any SEC unit, but the latest and greatest. I didn't get much world building from those original scenes there, other than the future will be painfully diverse, something I'll get back to. The group of disparate hippies picks Murderbot because he's a refurb and cheap. They are primarily focused on protecting the interests of a group called Preservation and their research on alien artifacts and a newly discovered colony. Why that's important or interesting, I have no idea. It does not resonate or sound interesting. The only reason I know any of this is that Murderbot narrates throughout. You could reduce the premise to just crazy android in the future tries not to kill human employers. Android good, convoluted bad. I'll give this a 5 out of 10. A reminder that I'm interested in general audiences, not hardcore sci-fi heads. Next is unique characters. Murderbot definitely has unique characters, and this is one of its biggest problems. They seem to be unique from a diversity perspective, but not in support of the premise perspective. Other than Murderbot, played by Alexander Skarsgård, and the enhanced human Gorathin, played by David Dastmalchian, the rest are insufferable know-it-all women, except for the goofy Ratty, played by Akshay Khanna, who isn't a woman, which is why they allowed him to be a goofy man. You know, the DEI catechism. Pin Lee, played by Sabrina Wu, and Arada, played by Tatiana Jones, are lesbian lovers. That seems to be their only defining trait. In the present, we don't care who you bang, but in the future, apparently, it's the only thing that's important or makes you interesting. The other main character is Mensa, played by Noma Dumezawinweni. Sorry, I apologize for butchering your name. I apologize for butchering everybody's name. The creaky, older, insufferable matriarch boss lady. The main problem is that I don't understand what they are doing, and I can't discern how it might inform their characters. We know what a private investigator does, or a photographer. I really don't know what research on alien artifacts and a newly discovered colony is. Sure, it's archaeological, but you couldn't have picked a duller job. Other than the very strong Murderbot, the rest are a confused, dull DEI mess. 3 out of 10. Casting. How well did they do? Because this is supposed to be future sci-fi, casting is a double-edged sword. On one hand, casting is extremely earthbound in its diversity. If this really was the future, then wouldn't it have made sense if the producer, hired people that were all mulatto with a splash of Asian, because the future is supposed to be all of us merging all our ethnicities. That would look like a future group of people. It would give us a sci-fi nod, but this is more today, San Fran hate Ashbury. But the homogeneous idea would be impossible to cast. Still, the cast is as uninteresting as the characters they play. Skarsgård is the only reason to watch this show, with Dastmalchian coming in second. I could watch an episode of Cheers without Ted Danson. I could not watch an episode of this without Skarsgård. 4 out of 10. Home base. Yeah, they have this spiffy spacecraft. They apparently, that they could afford the spacecraft, but not a better sec unit. Never mind. Is the craft going to be the home base? It has no intrinsic personality. It adds nothing to the story. Not sure it's that important here. Sure, it's a home base, but it's not the Millennium Falcon. It was completely, totally imbued with personality. 6 out of 10. Okay, this next one might be a surprise based on what I've covered so far. A good, interesting story, well written. The show is about Murderbot. That's it, full stop. The crew's job is to service Murderbot's journey, which is, frankly, addictively engaging. Normally, I'd be complaining about where are the B and C stories. In this case, I don't give a shit about anyone else. That's definitely going to be a problem for longevity. But as a pilot episode, Murderbot's dilemma and internal struggle, it actually kept me invested in the episode. 9 out of 10, with an asterisk. Production values are top-notch. Murderbot's face-covering design, helmet thingy, is unique and looked great. The only thing I really hated was how this face covering could be jettisoned, into his uniform. It looked super CG fake. It might have made more sense to leave some kind of metallic neck cowl that it could fold back into. Other than that, the interfaces, the integration of the Dyson-powered fanless quadcopter, all look good. 8 out of 10. A return to equilibrium. I know I rag on about this because it's part of my network era upbringing, but I do feel it is important to complete an adventure per episode. This unrolling of an extended movie these streamers do does not work. And if it works in the first season like Severance, it often fails in the second season like Severance. Murderbot feels like we are going to descend into his 9 circles of hell, and at least from this first episode, I don't care about anybody else. 1 out of 10. A series must have legs. Back in the day, we used to ask the producers for a premise that might show up in season 5. Murderbot has the potential of producing one interesting season solely on the basis of Mr. Murderbot himself. His existential threat that the humans will discover that he has disabled his thingamajooey and has total control over himself is not a multi-year sustainable premise. And now, as we have learned from most streaming shows like The Witcher, The Last of Us, Squid Game, and Westworld on cable, that good season 2s are almost impossible. It's an impossible task without a rinse and repeat format. I can't see what season 2 would have in store for Murderbot, even if there is or are a bunch of books in the series. Does he abandon this crew of characters? Who knows? I can only go by the pilot. The score is 1 out of 10. The creative team, Martha Wells is the creator and writer of the Murderbot-based series of novellas, of the same name. She has written many sci-fi fantasy books since 1993. Not much experience in TV production, but most of her books are festooned with queer characters, I am told. They are a huge success and clearly reason enough for a streamer to be interested because for some reason, streamers love their dystopian stories. It's produced by Toa Fraser, David S. Goyer, with showrunners Chris Weitz and Paul Weitz. All have top-notch credits, which I won't go into now. But they should have known better and caught just how inadequate the supporting characters were. 8 out of 10. Finally, do I want to watch the next episode? Strangely, yes. But it's only because of Skarsgård and his murderous bot, even though I really don't like the supporting characters. I'll give this 7 out of 10. The total is 52 out of 100. Barely a passing grade, and based on the fact that I don't believe the show has legs, I would not give it, would not greenlight this show. It could very well have a great first season of 10 episodes. The Boys gave us 2 great, really good seasons before falling off a cliff. As always, I'll report back after I watch all 10 and tell you honestly if I was wrong. But one character does not a series make, and I don't think I'm wrong. And just because Apple will probably pick it up for another season is irrelevant. Streamers do strange things. They have no idea how to spend their money. Have you seen Murderbot? What do you think? Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.